Hey, what's up? This is Todd Morse from The Offspring. You might know me from some of my past bands, H20, Juliet and Elix. Lately, I've been listening to some Wet Leg. I just saw them here in Vegas a little while ago. I've been playing loud, punk rock and rock music for 30 years. So a lot of times
Yeah.
when I get home, I listen to mellow shit like reggae.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You definitely kind of have to step away from the madness every once in a
Yeah.
while. You love it, but I need a little serenity. I need a little calm after a while. And
Yeah.
that is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on. You've been doing this for so long, and I think that you would have some amazing insight on some of the newer bands that are coming out right now and trying to do this thing, and not really about being a rock star, about like
Hmm.
what all that comes with, but how to manage that mentally with
Yeah.
everything else in your life going on. And for you, it's on a big scale, doing headlining festivals and traveling the world, and a
Yeah.
lot a lot of like pressure and stuff comes with that too. So this is a mental health podcast. So I kind of just
Yeah.
I guess my first question will be is I know it's kind of a loaded question, but how does being in a band help you with your mentals? I
Well,
know
I
you
mean,
I know you love what you do, and how much does the love come with kind of just the head stuff?
well, there's a couple of things. A lot of us artists have ADHD, which I myself included, and I have a
Me as
hard time
well.
have a hard time relaxing, have a hard time being in the moment. You know, try to do some meditation, this and that. But when I'm on stage and my muscle memory kicks in on how to play these songs because we've been touring so much,
Yeah.
the flow state. I'm sure you've talked about the flow state here is there. The feeling of being in the moment, being in the flow state, and just sort of transmitting to people beyond your mind and all the negativity that you have stored in there from the past, or it's all gone,
Hmm.
So
Kind of
being
step
on
into a
stage,
new dimension almost when you get up there.
right?
Yeah.
For me, performing music live, I've always been a live guy. Like, I'm obviously I record and go in the studio and stuff, but performing live and having that vibrational connection with the audience and
Hmm.
letting go and not using my brain is the best mental therapy that I've ever had.
Yeah.
Um,
Snapping out of it for a little bit. This
yeah, I
is what
mean,
matters right now. These fans are what matter right now.
right. And it sort of lingers in between shows because you're going to get to go there again.
Yeah,
It is a form of meditation, I believe.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. A lot of these bands are saying that just like the band practice is enough for them to kind of get out of their head. Like, hey, let's get the band together. Let's just create something together. Like, let's
right.
block out all that outside noise.
Yeah,
Um,
because the saying goes, I get paid to travel, I rock for free, and the reason that saying works is because it's you have to want what's happening at the show enough to deal with what's happening in between getting to the show.
sure,
Like,
absolutely.
and I've done it on every level in a van, living off peanut butter and bread for 2 months, sleeping on couches, sharing beds with grown men,
Yeah.
to now with the offspring where we get to travel nicely. Um, but the reason I was able to do it for so long is because the payoff was always worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not for people, and they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to think it was a high, but it's not really a high. It's literally just shutting your mind off. It's like being in the flow.
Euphoria
Yeah, yeah.
kind of
You
way. Yeah.
can't you
Just
can't
being with
always
it.
get there on stage. Sometimes
Sure.
thoughts creep in. It happens to everybody. But
Yeah.
and then the other thing I was going to say is like from doing this for too long. Too long. I said too long. I meant I meant to say so long. It's not too
You're good.
long. 30 years. I'm ready to go another 20.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But the other thing too that I was thinking about this before we talked, which was, there's two kinds of mental states, and I think choosing one has helped me stay in the business and get to where I am, being with the Offspring for 17 years, and And those two states are there's the ego when things are popping off and you convince yourself you're the greatest, and that cockiness helps you
Hmm.
to a certain extent when you're starting out,
Sure.
but it can start to really harm you because the business goes like this,
Yeah.
and when you're on that high and then you land back down and things aren't going so great, it's so painful and so confusing. So it's a trick, but you got to carry a balance of confidence and humility, because you know,
That's a
you
great
always
word.
got to
Humility. I like
try
that.
to remind yourself of how low it can get, no matter how big your shows are.
Yeah.
You always I always in the back of my mind remember, when I ran out of money so many times and I
Mm,
had no place to live, and you know, all these things. Those sit in there and remind me, be in the moment, be in the state, be humble, be appreciative of everything that's happening right now.
yeah.
Because if you stay in the ego state, you just become one of these bitter old dudes who's just talking shit on their former band, or,
Mm,
hating on every new band and all that stuff. I don't want to be that.
yeah. So I definitely have two major questions for you. So I want to get through
Mhm.
those first. So the
Sure.
first major question is, you have a brother also that also plays
That's
music.
right. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so when it comes to family dynamics, how has playing music and touring and having a sibling kind of doing the same thing as you, like being able to be together and with the
Mhm.
family, what kind of a family dynamic is it with you and your brother both doing this?
Well, when I first quit my day job bartending in New York City, it was to go on tour with my brother in H2O. We hit the road hard. All those van tours I was talking about, all the,
Yeah.
uh, sleeping in the van and eating peanut butter sandwiches and all that. I did, we drove that van around the US 3 or 4 times at least. We did all the hard style touring.
Yeah.
Um, but everyone has to know their role, right? So before I got in H2O with my brother, I was the guy trying to do my own band, doing everything, the booking, the the running of the band, and it burnt me out on doing music. Like I did. So
Mm.
when I got with my brother in H2O, I let him take the reins. Like I was happy to write songs and perform live and make money doing it, and I let him take the reins. If if I had come into that with this, like, sibling rivalry kind of vibe, it would have never worked. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I let him run with not let him, but H2O's his vision. So when I was in that band, I was just happy to show up and have people there at every show. And, I got to write a lot of the big anthems that are still big today with them. And I was happy that with that. Then, as I got older and I got married and I had kids and stuff like that, I was getting these other gigs that where I didn't have to where I didn't have to share a hotel room, you know, and once in a while I could actually fly business class, or be on a nice tour bus or
Yeah, yeah.
this or
No
the
more,
other
no more
thing.
hostels in random cities that
Yeah,
you're in.
and I it coincided with me having been doing the rough touring for so long.
Yeah.
I just let them know, like, it goes back to what I said before. I was no longer inspired to go through all that shit to play a hardcore music when I was feeling more evolved musically. Juliet and the Licks was more like a rock band. I had to become a better player with her. Um, and I just wanted to evolve,
Yeah.
I just wanted to grow. Hardcore is amazing because it's super authentic, and it's people know what you're going to get, but you're not really allowed to evolve. It's like it's all about being still being that guy,
Are you talking about evolve as in like maybe the fans looking at you or
musically,
with it? Yeah,
musically,
right. Exactly. Yeah.
musically,
Yeah.
or anything, just growing up,
Sure.
Um, So I parted ways with H2O, and me and my brother are still cool. Like I still get invited to play with them, and
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, everything's cool. And my nephew's playing drums now, which is really cool, which makes me want to play with them more because I love the
Yeah.
family dynamic there,
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
I
It's
watch their
definitely
kid.
brought a very unique dynamic to a family that not a lot of people get to experience or go through.
I
How do
lo
your parents feel about you two traveling the world and not spending too much as much time with them as maybe if you lived within the area?
well, my brother still lives. My mom lives in LA, and so does my
Mm.
brother. I'm out here in Henderson, Nevada, outside of Vegas.
Oh,
So
okay.
my mom was just out here. We fly my mom out all the time to hang with my kids, and
Cool.
I don't know. I think my mom thinks it's cool. It's funny because she was skeptical at first when we were younger, coming up. I moved out when I was 18 years old. And I remember her saying, what are you doing with this music thing?" Because I wasn't making any money. And I told her, I
Yeah.
said, "Listen, if I'm not making money in music by the time I'm 25, I'm done." That was, 25 years later.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I kind of burned all the bridges to do this.
Mm. You were touring in a van, you were living off of these things, and
Mhm.
one thing that sparked me was with a term called delayed gratification. Are you
Mhm.
familiar? So it's like I talk to bands about this all the time. It's like you can't expect to like jump and get so massive and get so big so early. There's all that
Mhm.
stuff you have to grind with because all these bands these days, it's a lot different now than when you first started, all the streaming and the YouTube,
Mhm.
and no one's buying like physical media as much anymore, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's changed a lot. So I like to hear that kind of stuff from people like you where I wanted this so bad and I gave it everything. I had to burn some bridges, but I'm doing what I love. Like I didn't
Yeah.
like cave in and do a 9 to 5. Like, yeah, because there's pros and cons that come with everything. Let's just say you
Yeah.
gave into something else, but then you never even tried your music.
Mhm. Yeah, and I saw a lot of people drop off along the way that,
Yeah,
you know, the touring is a mindset that people uh, can't conceptualize until they do it.
right, right.
You're missing weddings, you're missing holidays,
Yeah.
you're not sleeping a lot. Um, it's a whole thing. You gotta like, I don't know. I feel like I had this internal vision that I would, be playing arenas and stadiums, and now I am. Like it's such
Yeah.
a late stage in life. I started late. I didn't start touring till in my 30s.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. Well,
How,
well, I
so,
guess actually that's not true. Probably late 20s. Yeah.
so my next question was, so you said that you have a wife and kids. How
Hmm.
does touring and being in a band affect your relationship? Does it help? I'm sure you guys have different things where it's like when I'm on tour, we have different kind of responsibilities, but just mentally, like being away from the family for a while, and how does that play a
Yeah.
role in what you do?
My wife and I, when we met, that's just what I did. I I'd be like, "See, I'm going on tour," and I think that's just what we've grown used to. My kids are like they flip out when my wife wants to go somewhere, but they're like totally fine because they're like, "We're used to you leaving."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I definitely miss them a lot, but it's like it's what I do to provide for everybody too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's funny, I'm off the road for 3 months right now, and my wife can't get used to the fact that, "Wait, are you here this weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here like every weekend." You know?
Yeah.
Uh,
Schedules are a little wild sometimes. Like,
yeah,
I can't even imagine.
yeah. And so I was going to say that with the kids though, like, I know a lot of in my neighborhood, a lot of dads that are gone all day and don't get home until see their kids until like dinner time, and then the kids go to bed, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm gone these long periods of time, but when I'm home all day with them. I'm here when they leave for school. I'm here when they come home from school.
Hmm.
They're going to get sick of me.
I mean, and that's a very important thing to kind of conceptualize because I
Yeah.
think when people kind of start getting into it, they have to all the different things to balance can be very
Yeah.
overwhelming. But a lot of that comes with just the experience of doing it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you can't really figure it out until you actually go try it, and that's what you did. So that's a
Well,
great
yeah, I mean, like I said, they all joined my world kind of in that I've been doing this since they were born, since I met my wife. This is
yeah,
not something that came up after we were already a family.
yeah, yeah. Do your kids want to play music at all? Have you
Uh
have you
my
started teaching them some bass yet?
my yeah, actually my 12-year-old just did a dance competition last night. She dances and sings like in musical theater, super
Cool.
talented.
Yeah.
Great stage presence. Yeah, she's not necessarily getting into rock or being in a band or playing an instrument or anything. She's more into like the dancing and singing, acting thing. But
Hmm.
my kids come in. This is my studio here. My kids come in and tinker around on the piano and play a little bass, and uh, they make up songs, which that's the greatest thing for me when they're just writing a song and I just hear them singing something. I go, what is that? And they're like, I don't know, I just made it up. I'm like, that is a gift. That you
Songwriters.
don't lose
Lyric
that.
you have lyricists in your house.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, they're kind of feeling it out, kind of into it. Um, and they travel. They've
Oh, cool.
yeah, and our singer Dexter has two daughters who are about the same age, so they all hang out. And
That's awesome.
yeah, in fact, they
Yeah.
see each other and they don't care that we're a rock
Oh
band
yeah.
anymore. They just were like,
Yeah.
okay, you guys go do your show. We're gonna.
Well, that is a good point when it came to like when I was talking about family because at some point all
Mhm.
the people that you work with kind of become like your new family, right?
Yeah,
Like Dexter
yeah,
and all the guys and like the guys who are all the sound techs, just everything. You all just
yeah,
become one big family. And I'm sure
yeah.
that helps a ton when you're away from your blood actual family, your wife and your kids.
Yeah, at any given Offspring show backstage, it's like kids running rampant. Like it's like big
Sure.
kid fest.
Yeah. Going into a little bit of my story just for a second,
Mhm.
the whole reason I started this podcast is because 4 years ago, um, I'll call it a life attempt that I did 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And when I got out of the hospital, the first thing that I did was listen to Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park and cried for hours.
Yeah,
And it was then at that moment that I realized this is what music is for.
hmm
This is it's to inspire people, to make them feel like they're not alone, to make them feel they're not the only ones going through things and that there is hope. And it was at that moment I realized that. And then a couple of years later, I'm like, you know what? Because it's always in my head, I'm like, I have to do something to give this rock world something that it's given me my life back.
yeah.
And so that's how I started this podcast. So my question for you is, how often, because I'm sure it is often, do you get people coming up to you about your music and how it's helped them and how maybe, some of your bands and some of the lyrics and songs has saved their lives and what's that kind of connection like on that personal level with fans and just what it helps get them through?
It happens a lot. I mean, my DMs are filled with people telling their stories and that are, want to come to the shows and how it's, they went through this and they went through that. It's so many that you feel overwhelmed and that you
Sure.
can't help everyone. But I will say this, um, for a lot of my career, I was in the mindset of like, this is a selfish job. Like
Hmm.
I'm doing this for, attention and I'm doing this for ego strokes and I'm doing this to be famous and this and that. And, you can't even put me in the same category as a doctor or a therapist or a fireman or someone that's helping people.
Hmm.
But now I see it differently. I see it differently because the world is so fucked up right now, and so many people are having so much trouble coping and waking up every day facing what's on the news and all this other stuff. Now I go and I look out at the crowd, and you don't know who's a Republican or who's a Democrat or who's gay or straight or none of that. All those lines are blurred, because everybody now has
Yeah.
something in common. They
Yep.
have this music in common.
Yep.
And to me, that is a service.
Absolutely.
I'm getting emotional, but like, yeah, I feel like I am doing something. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Music saved my life, the lyrics of it. And I like so many people are like kind of back and forth on it. They're like, oh, I listen to music because I like the way it makes me feel. I like to rock out. I'm a drummer, so I love hearing the drums.
yeah,
But I've always been the person. Let me open up a CD and pull the booklet out and read the lyrics and try to
yeah,
understand what this song means.
yeah,
So it's not just kind of background music or something that I can
yeah.
rock out to, but to me, it's always been so personal.
Hmm.
And when I had that moment too, I was just like, music has always been this way for me. I mean, I grew up in the 90s and my first concert was Hanson.
Nice.
But I remember though, just it was like the most incredible thing I'd ever been to.
Yeah,
And then like my mom and I we were walking back to the car and their tour bus drove by us and they were waving. And I
yeah,
was just like so excited. I was like 9 years old with a Hanson
yeah.
t-shirt on and out coming out after my first concert. And then I mean
But what you don't
it
think,
really opened me up to the atmosphere of music and how special just being in that moment can be too.
yeah. I mean, what you don't think about though when you go to your first concert, your first couple of concerts, is you kind of in the mentality that it's all about the band and the band's so great, but it's the whole thing.
Right.
It's the crowd, it's the community, it's the crowd, it's you know, um, you know, when people say, "Oh, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen," in my mind, I'm like, I did the same thing I do every single night. The crowd was amazing. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like,
I see what
I,
yeah.
I give 100% every single night. It's no different when the shows people say, "Oh, that was," and I get it. Like, there's a festival we play in France called Hellfest, and the last time we played it, I never saw so much energy and motion for every single song of an Offspring show in the entire time I've been in the band.
Oh
You know,
wow.
it was you can watch the whole video of it on YouTube,
Oh cool.
Hellfest 2024, and we're going to headline it this summer.
Oh cool.
Uh,
I didn't I just interviewed a guest that's playing Hellfest.
it's a great festival.
I and that's what I keep hearing. I'm like
Yeah.
I need to get out there at some point. It's
Watch
such
the
a good
video
festival.
Offspring Hellfest 2024. You'll see what I mean.
Okay.
They have
Yeah,
they have
absolutely.
all throughout the crowd, they have installments that stay there all year, and they have synchronized flames that shoot out from the crowd to the music. It's incredible.
Flames to the music.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
That's
it's not even the band's production.
ah.
it's the festival's production. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
just such an energetic crowd. France is so good for punk rock and rock music.
Yeah. So you had said a word earlier that I wanted to circle back on because I think it's a good conversation. You said burnout.
Hmm.
That is a huge part of all this. Everybody see, when people want to be in a band, they want to be a rock star. Like, I want to go on tour. I
Hmm.
want to be on the road all the time. But when you really dive into what your body
Hmm.
is going through, especially during burnout, and you're only a
Yeah.
couple shows into the tour, how do
Hmm.
you kind of balance that, like your kind of just your mental state and kind of bring you from here to here and just kind of be in the moment and I don't
Yeah.
know, just what
Um,
does that do to you?
I mean, I love what I do. Not I'm not a burnout guy anymore. In my previous bands, I reached those points, you know, because it
Mhm.
because the traveling was so hectic and just the whole intensity of it all was a lot. Um, but the way that Offspring tours and travels and the amount that as much as it seems like we're always out there touring, this is the least intensive thing touring wise that I've done. It's always been way more and way less comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So So I
Yeah.
don't get burnout anymore. I love getting on stage. Like when the tour's
Yeah.
over, I don't want it to be over. Like,
I was going to ask you about post-tour recovery
yeah.
or the post-tour blues. I think that's called
Oh
something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
really, it really, there, it's real. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
real
I
thing,
know.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But I bet when you're home and you're having that and your kids are around, it makes it a little bit easier.
oh yeah, I'm having a great time
Yeah.
being the suburban dad right now.
Yeah.
Um, but only because I know I still I'm gonna get to go do it, you know, like,
Yeah.
and so it's a balance for me, you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I see a lot of people get burnt out. Um, I'm so road worn, you know, that
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't anymore. I know exactly how every day, what to do every day to be ready and how to not to burn myself out, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I've been there in the past where I just was ready to bail and just it was too much for me and I made bad decisions because of it in my life.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I'm past it. I'm past the burnout.
Good.
At
Good,
least
good,
right
good.
now, according to the 420 2026. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna mention because we were talking about shows and atmospheres and stuff. One of
Mhm.
the funnest shows, coolest shows I've ever been to was about maybe 25 years ago now. Was the Offspring opening? Well, it was at a Tony Hawk skateboarding
Huck
tour.
Jam. Yeah. Huck Jam.
Yes, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
That was such a fun show. And it was kind of like right when the Tony Hawk skateboarding game was out too.
I
So it was
love that
just,
game. Yeah.
oh my God, me too. I was just playing it last night. Um, but that was so much fun. That was so much fun. I feel like the band has always given great performances and they kind of know how to, you guys know how to do it right, you know?
That was before my time. I started
Right,
in
right.
2009, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, I heard all about the Huck Jam and how it was amazing.
yeah, yeah,
I want to ask you something. You were talking
yeah.
about when you had your struggles and Lincoln Park helped you out. Was that before or after Chester took his life?
Mm, it was after.
After, yeah.
Yeah. That he's behind me every day. I have his poster back here. He
Mhm.
is with me every day.
Yeah.
I was living in LA when this happened. And they did that Hollywood Bowl in celebration of life for him. Like
Yeah.
System of a Down was there, Corn was there, Avenged Sevenfold.
Hmm.
Like they did the whole thing. It was pretty wild, but I'm gonna be honest, man. I have never been the same mentally with rock and roll since
Yeah.
Chester left. It is a
Yeah.
very, very heavy topic for me, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, and I might
Mhm.
have cried every time I talked about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's always meant a lot to me. He's one of the reasons why I love lyrics.
Yeah.
I used to love reading his lyrics because they're very
Yeah.
deep. In any project he was in, not even just Linkin Park, but all his other things too. Like
You
he's
know,
just
as
ugh.
as a dad with him and Chris, you know, that's the part, that's the hardest part for me to understand. You know, like if you're struggling and you're on your own with and no one's relying on you, you know, that's one thing, but to have kids and to I can't conceptualize it, you know.
Right.
I I'd do anything to be with my kids, you know, like so you got to be that like to be they had to be that sad that they felt like their kids would be better. I don't
Mm.
understand. Not to get too
And that's the weird thing that our mind does to us, Todd.
yeah,
It makes us believe, even though we're saving lives. Chester, I mean, yeah,
yeah,
he's he saved millions of lives with his voice too. But
yeah,
um, yeah, that was a tough one.
yeah,
That was a tough one. So no matter who you are, this stuff can play a major role in it.
yeah,
And that's what I was saying earlier about people can look at Chester and be like, "Oh, you had everything. You were playing,
yeah,
oh, you're doing, traveling the world,
yeah,
like living the life that others believe." But
yeah,
inside, what was really going on?
yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone know? Do you think even his closest family members know? You know, who knows, you know? Like,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know.
Do you believe any of those conspiracy theories about him and Chris?
You know, it's I wasn't gonna go there,
Yeah.
but I will because I don't think he did it to himself. I'm gonna be
He's
honest. I
talking
don't
about
think
he's talking about Chris or
both of them.
yeah. It does seem weird. It does seem really strange
Yeah,
for Chris to go all that long with those struggles, and then all of a sudden, after he has kids and they're like making plans to go on vacation, and yeah,
it doesn't seem right. There's something off about it.
it does.
And did you hear that him and Chris were working on that documentary about the
I
kids?
did.
And then
I
all of
did.
a sudden they no.
Yeah.
I don't I don't as much as we're being told that this is what it is, and it
Mhm.
might be what it is, it's just really hard for me to fathom. And that is kind of why, and oh man, I'm so happy you brought that up. I forgot. So that is one of the reasons that kind of spiraled my depression is because
Mhm.
Chester was always such a huge role model for me.
Yeah.
I got my hyper theory tattoo right there.
Nice.
And I thought when he passed, I'm like, wait a minute. If he had it all,
Hmm.
everything that we're all striving for, the money, the
You could still
success,
be
the family, the
depressed.
house,
You could still
exactly,
be depressed,
absolutely.
but enough to
But
do that.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, when and if I believe the narrative, it
Hmm.
makes me think, well, if Chester wasn't able to get through his stuff, what makes me think that I can? If
Yeah.
he kind of literally had it all. And
Yeah.
just that thought alone spiraled me for like 3 or 4
Yeah.
years. If Chester
Yeah.
can't get through it, what makes me think that I can? I don't think that anymore, but that's where my mind went.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to believe. It's
Mm,
hard to believe anything anyone tells you
I
anymore.
know.
You
I
know,
know.
it's hard to believe anything anymore. Uh, it used to be when anything happened where someone died, you would hear every detail about it for months and months and months, you know, and now seems like it all gets buried, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
in a time when information is so readily available, there's no information.
Yeah.
That's what makes it tricky, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever get to play any shows with Chester or Lincoln
I
Park or
was
any of
I
those
was going to
guys?
show I was just going to show you I have uh it's kind of behind some of my soundproofing right now, but let me see if you can see this here. This is the off
Oh,
concert for the Philippines, the
oh,
Offspring
no way.
Lincoln Park and Bad Religion.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Was that a tour or was that a show? Like
that
what?
was a that was a benefit show for the Philippines, and they had all that they had that
Oh.
crazy
Was that the
storm.
only time you ever played with them?
No, we were on festivals with them
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, yes.
yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm actually throwing my first festival out here in Brooklyn, and it's a benefit
Oh yeah.
show. Yeah, it's a benefit show for our friends over at To Write Love on Our Arms.
Oh cool.
Yeah, yeah, I had them on recently, and
Is that a band?
it's a nonprofit,
Oh okay.
and it's To Write Love on Our Arms. It started from like a cutting. It
Oh
was
right, yeah,
from like the cutting pandemic, you want to
yeah.
call it, but they've moved from that to that, still that, including everything else from like suicidal ideology and depression,
Mhm.
ADHD, all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a benefit show, and I'm bringing bands on who have been on this show,
Oh
and
cool.
there's 12 bands playing. We have comedians playing. We have a poet. It's a
Nice.
benefit show, and it's all about mental health, and we're celebrating rock.
Where's it? Where are you having it at?
It's at a bar called Bar Frida in Brooklyn.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So how's a California kid like living in Brooklyn? That's like night and day, man.
it really is. Well, I grew up in California in San Jose in the Bay Area, and then I went
Yeah.
to LA for school. I used to be in film, worked in post production. I directed a horror film, but
Oh, cool.
after 2020, I was kind of like, during 2020, I like all my jobs were like really remote, and
Hmm.
LA which just wasn't doing it for me anymore. I don't know. It just wasn't. It
It's
just wasn't my thing
2020
anymore.
2020 changed everyone's trajectory, you
Yeah.
know. It made me want to move out of LA too. Yeah.
Is that when you moved? Is during that time?
Shortly after, yeah. Yeah.
So that's actually a great question. How did 2020 affect your music and your band and songwriting and just the creative side of just being alone and being able to have that freedom and time to do
Yeah,
things.
I mean, honestly, I had a lot of positive experiences,
A
like
lot of bands have said that.
I met all my neighbors, became good
Oh
friends
yeah.
with my neighbors who I'd never talked to before.
Sure, sure.
I watched my one daughter learn how to ride a bike and one daughter learn how to swim because usually in the summer I'm on tour. So,
Yeah.
um, and what the Offspring did was something really smart was, I had just become the bass player. Um, but I was a guitar player for 10 years before that. I was, so we rehearsed. We 2 to 3 days a week would go into the studio and like we learned how to play our songs better. We went back and listened to all the individual tracks from the records and make sure we are all playing the same thing. And it made me a better player. And we all we just tightened up. We sat
Mm,
around, rehearsed, and tightened
yeah.
up, um, and then our drummer at the time was out in Nashville, and he ended up leaving the band over the whole vaccine thing, and that's a whole other story.
Mm.
But
That's a
so
whole different podcast.
yeah, so we got super tight, and then Josh Freese came in, and so when
Mm,
I came out of 2020 a much better player, and then I was playing with one of the best drummers in the world,
yeah.
maybe even better. It really helped me.
Mm,
2020 was a nice pause button for me. Um,
mm. Yeah,
um,
I got to work with the Vandals once, and
yeah,
he's such a great dude, man. So
yeah, yeah,
humble,
yeah.
but he's amazing.
I love the Vandals. They're so funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're hilarious, hilarious guys.
Um,
I know you don't have too much time left. There's just two more questions. The last
sure.
one is a quick one.
Okay.
Um, you have a ton of fans and respect all around the world, and people listen to people they respect. They listen to
Mhm.
them. What advice would you give to a younger band starting out in this generation? Like I know it's a lot different from when you were, but kind of just things that you're saying that you're seeing
Yeah.
and the struggles and like you were saying earlier, and still to this day, bands are the booker, they're the promoter, they're the social media, they're the videographers, they're everything.
Right.
And that alone is just causing burnout of having to do everything. But how do you
Yeah.
just mentally like get through that? Is it just the passion and the love for the music? Like what is that? Like what advice would you give for someone who's trying to balance all these things?
My advice wouldn't really work for some people because what's worked for me is being pliable, which is being open-minded and being okay with trying to go with the flow, you know, finding a place in a band that's without my ego getting in the way. There's two journeys for people that want to play music. You want to be an artist or you want to be a professional musician, right? Because
Sure.
a lot of the artist mentality is like, this is me, this is how I do it, and which is great. But if you just stick to that route and it doesn't work out, that's all you got, right?
Right. Right.
But if you come into it like, yeah, I want to be an artist, but also like to do this for a living, I realize I got to be a team player. I got to be, I got to know my lane, you know. Uh, I guess knowing your lane is the hardest thing, especially for young bands because the ego's still there.
Mm. And
Um,
then you get influenced by all the other like local bands around you and your friends that are in bands,
right.
and you kind of lose focus that way
You
too.
can. I mean, if you do have friends in bands and there's a scene where all your friends' bands play together, that's the best thing that could happen ever. You
That's
know,
true.
doing it in isolation is terrible. The
Hmm.
reason why I'm here is because H2O were part of the New York hardcore scene. There was a scene that accepted us, and
Hmm.
then the rest of the world accepted us because of that. Um, but I don't even like I'm so out of touch with is there a scene anymore? Like I know that a lot of young bands are playing house parties and stuff like that,
Hmm.
which is cool. To me, that's it right
Yeah, those
there.
are fun.
You know,
Those are fun
don't
ones.
don't
Yeah.
don't call up the whiskey and ask them how much you can pay to play there. Go play
Right, right,
parties,
right.
you know.
That is
Uh,
the goal, though, for a lot of people is to play the whiskey. Oh man,
yeah, yeah. Well,
I I miss the whiskey. That's the one thing I miss about LA the most is like all the great venues that are out there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's great venues. I made a record in Brooklyn, actually. I made a H2O record.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Coyote Studios. I don't know if it's still
Coyote
there or not.
Studio. It sounds familiar though.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How
Yeah.
long how long were you in New York for?
I was thinking about this the other day. I was in New York for 11 years.
Whereabouts were you at when you were here?
Well, first when I lived there, I lived outside on the other side of the river in Jersey City. We had a house in Jersey City, the band I was in at the time. And then I moved to Manhattan. I lived on East Ninth Street for a long time.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And
you were right in it.
I was right in it.
Yeah.
Before Brooklyn was the hip spot, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, I got one more for you, but again, thank you so much for everything. And my last question is, uh, was it worth it?
Was it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got a nice roof over my head. I got
Yeah.
two, two beautiful wife and two beautiful children who are healthy, and I'm able to keep this ship afloat doing what I love. I mean, it sounds like a pipe dream. It sounds like a fantasy, but there's a lot of grit and road time and disappointment and poverty and all that along the way that people don't think about, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so it wasn't some like over, I'm not, it wasn't like an overnight sensation. I had
Right,
to
right,
work
right.
really
Oh,
hard,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
But the
Um,
grind was worth it though.
yeah,
It paid
yeah.
off.
I
It
you know,
really did.
I'm playing the biggest shows of my life, in my 50s. Like
Mm.
this is all along the way, people were telling me, "Oh, you're too old to do this. You're too old to do this now.
Oh,
Too old
wow.
to do this
No.
now." If I had listened to that, I would have
Right.
missed out on the most successful live shows I've ever done late
Mhm.
in life. I would have turned back, you know.
Yeah. You
So
trusted your gut and you went with what you loved. And that's kind of about it.
a little bit
Well,
of that, and also like I don't know what else to do at this point. You
but you
know,
knew you loved music.
a little bit of desperation there,
Sure. Oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's a little bit of all. I think all of us have
yeah,
some desperation when we're first. That's all
yeah.
good. Well, Todd Morse, I appreciate your time more than you can ever know. And I
Well,
appreciate our a little talk about Chester. I love talking about him and keeping his memory alive because
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I do this. Chester was everything to me. So, thanks for sharing your insight, and I'm sure it's going to get to a lot of people and help them. And I think your story is awesome. I also like how you worked behind the scenes a little bit, right, with Offspring before you were like an official band member.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was the backup guy, yeah, for 10
Yeah.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I love how like you were, so involved with it and kind of any level. It wasn't like this is what I want, this is the thing, but it was like I want to do this, and you grew with the band and now here you are. Did
yeah.
you ever kind of think that was going to happen or hope it was going to happen or
I told them, when I was trying out for the band, I said, I'll play behind the curtain. Put me behind the curtain. At that point, I had suffered a huge ego death,
Mm,
and I didn't need to be a rock star. I just wanted to make money touring, which is the only thing I knew how to do. So,
mm.
luckily, they didn't put me behind a curtain, and now they got me right out front on stage.
They must like you a little bit then. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Well, Todd, again, thank you so much, man. I know you guys are probably doing a bunch of tours, so I hope to see you on the road at some point. Are you guys playing the I think it's the one in it's a big one in Sacramento. I saw you guys a couple of years
yeah.
at
We are. Yeah. Aftershock.
Aftershock. Yeah, you're gonna
Yes.
be there again this year?
Yep. Yep.
I'll see you there, my friend. I love
Okay,
that
cool.
festival. I love
What's
that
that?
festival. I love that
Great
festival.
festival. I've been saying for a while, that's the most like a European festival in the States. Yeah, for sure.
I
Great.
was there. I was there. I think you guys went on right before the Misfits.
We did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great set. And it was so cool. And maybe it's because I just haven't seen you guys in a while. It had been a couple years, but there were a lot of kids in your crowd
We have a
singing
lot of young
along.
kids now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were so many kids, and they were always with like their dad.
Yeah.
I was like,
We
wow,
still
that
get
is
to tell
so
the kids
cool.
all. all over the world.
Yeah.
Our whole front row is young kids. Yeah, it's great.
You guys are already inspiring the next generation. I mean, how there's a lot of pressure there, but if you look at it as like, no, we're saving people. We're having an impact.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
no pressure, no
No,
pressure.
no pressure.
It's only rock and roll.
It's only rock, and it's right. It is. It's only rock and roll. Let's play some music and hang out and talk about how much we
Yeah,
love this stuff. I mean,
yeah, man.
yeah. Well, I'll see you at Aftershock,
Yeah,
and
come say hi.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be. Will it be in October again? I'm pretty sure it's in
it
October.
is. It's in October. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you
Be
there,
there.
Todd. And
Nice
again,
to meet
thank you
you.
so much for doing this.
Yeah.
And I wish
Oh, hey,
nothing but the.
can I plug something?
Oh, of course.
I totally forgot.
Totally.
Um, along the way during when I was in H2O, I started a side project with Cone from Sum 41. We have a band called Operation MD, and we've put out two records. Our first record did really well, but I was on tour with Juliet. He was on tour with Sum 41. We never toured. We never did anything. We just re-released it on vinyl 19 years later.
Oh,
It just
wow.
came out. Yeah, it
Wow.
just came out today. So if you're into vinyl, Operation MD, we have an emergency. There's a link in my bio, Todd's Planet on Instagram.
Very cool. Very cool. I gotta go and check that out. You guys playing any
I
live
had to get
shows or
my plug
anything?
in. Huh?
Absolutely, of course. You guys playing shows right now or anything? You plan on that? Blowing on tour with that or
No, we're
anything?
gonna do it. We're gonna do the two of us are gonna do tours together at the Punk Rock Museum next month.
Oh, cool. Cool. I
But no
love
plan,
it.
no plans for shows really. We've only ever played like three shows in 19 years. So.
Next month is the punk rock bowling, right?
I
The
think it's
punk rock bowl.
canceled. I think they stopped doing it.
Oh,
I could be wrong,
I was
but
just
I
there
read
last
some.
year.
Hmm.
Uh, I haven't heard of it being canceled. I haven't looked into it because I was working another gig in Vegas.
When we hang up, Google it because I think they stopped doing it. Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well, that's a bummer.
yeah. All right, dude, I
Anyway,
gotta jump, man.
all
Thank
right,
you.
man. Thank you again so much. I'll talk to you very
Okay,
soon. All
okay.
right.